Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, tonight on this beautiful Wednesday night in Price Hill. It's about 79 degrees outside, a little cloudy, but it's a beautiful night. It's a great night for football. I'm Brett McCool alongside here with Eric Mason. Eric, how you looking forward to this game, man?
Brett, I'm super excited, and that's because Elder football is finally back. We've been waiting since last November, late October, early November, and I've been waiting all summer long for this, and it's finally here. And we're about to witness some very talented players at the freshman level. As freshmen, we don't know a whole lot about them, and so this game and the games moving forward, the coaches they're going to start to put in more guys. It's not just going to be, the best 11 on the field. It's going to be giving guys opportunities for this being the first game of the season and the first game for all these guys' elder career. They're going to get their opportunity to shine, see what players stand out, and it's not just going to be what players stand out in practice. It's going to be who performs on the field. So we'll see who will eventually be Elder's future starters. So I'm super excited to see what this team has to offer us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to, checking out some of these freshman kids. Star player right to mind comes Corbin Feltz, of course, the quarterback. Works out with the same QB coach that Matt Pontowski, Muller's quarterback, does. He just won Mr. Ohio football. So, if any of that coach's magic could rub on Corbin, he might have a bright future ahead of him. But for sure, freshman football I look at almost is like a practice for varsity. It's a game, yes, and you have a record, yes. But other than that, yes, it's nice to win the GCL, but other than that, not much matters. And it's kind of just developing the kids for the next level, getting the kids ready to play later on at Elder and later on in history. But as we have a familiar name on this team, Jordan Eastep, the wide receiver, Caden Eastep's little brother. So definitely look forward to watching another Eastep on that football field tonight.
Yeah, Jordan, it was the first day of school today, and Jordan is definitely recognized through the hallways, I can tell. And so he definitely has the athleticism coursing through his veins, as we see from Caden Eastep. So we'll see how he performs tonight, see if he's going to live up to what some people might say the hype. But, what I'm really interested in seeing is this coaching staff, because the coaching staff has been changing a whole lot at the freshman level. And we've got a lot of newer coaches, some more experienced, like Coach Nye and Coach Curran out there. And we got the newer faces, like Coach Tucker and Coach Summers. Both those guys are new this year at the freshman level. And so with all that, we've got a whole bunch of experience, younger and older. And so that's going to allow these players to, really learn what the program's all about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's switch over to this Winton Woods team. Just by looking at their sideline, they're definitely have less players. Mm-hmm. Elder's team is definitely bigger. But anyways, Winton Woods is a historically well-known football program. They've had many great players come from there. A lot of players move on to like Ohio State, Alabama, other great places. And of course, they're just an unbelievable program. So, we look forward to seeing what they have to offer tonight. We haven't seen a Winton Woods Elder game at the varsity level in some time. It's the first one, I think, Elder versus Winton Woods football in about 4 or 5 years. But it's definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah, and then, like you said, with the size of the teams, Elder freshman teams have historically been quite large. My freshman year, we had 84 kids on our team. And that just comes down to players trying out football for the first time and guys who are going to be staying with the program.
Yeah, as Winton Woods is going to hand the ball off to number 0. He's going to take a ball around the edge for a first down. As a freshman football player myself, or a former freshman football player myself, something that you always have to note when you're, getting ready to play is you have to be able to protect that corner. So many players right now, so many people on the freshman level are used to just cutting that corner and getting outside of the line with their speed. So you definitely need to watch that corner on the way out. As Winton Woods going to do another handoff to number 0. He's going to go down the sideline. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He fumbles the ball, but it goes out of bounds. Brought down by number 12.
Christian Ewing. He really chased him down there, but Winton Woods, their running back seems to be very, very fast, and they're just running them on the outside. So Elder really has to adjust to that and, be prepared for them to continue to be running on the outside because right now it's working.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And especially when you have speed like number 0. I mean, just from watching his first 2 plays, he's definitely got a sub-5, about 4.0, 40-yard dash. As number 1, the quarterback's going to drop back, pressured by number 99 for Elder. And that pass is going to be over number 8's head and incomplete.
Yeah, Brody Ketter's there. He applied a ton of pressure on the quarterback. And, that's exactly what you would see out of these freshmen. Some defensive linemen that can break through the A gap and the B gap and just go straight towards the quarterback. And if Elder D-line can continue to do that, Winton Woods is going to have a whole lot of trouble running their pass game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As Winton Woods is going to line up, trips to the right, 3 on the right, 1 on the left.
Looks like Elder's setting up cover 0.
Quarterback snaps it. He's looking deep. He's going to go deep. He's got a man open. That's touchdown. Touchdown for Winton Woods, number 6, with the touchdown.
And it seemed like Elder was doing more of a, it seemed like they were kind of confused between the man and the zone defense there because that wide receiver just ran right past Cam Beadle, and it seemed like he had no idea where he went, and he was wide open in the end zone for a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had no one within 5 feet of him.
Looks like they're going to be going for 2 here. That's something they see on the freshman level is kickers don't really have a developed foot yet.
Absolutely. It's going to be a direct snap to the quarterback, and he's going to be stopped.
Let's see what the ref says here.
He's stopped at the inch line.
No, it looks like he got in just barely. Just barely got across the line. There was a ton of Panthers swarming him, but it looks like that QB scramble just broke through the Elder defense.
Yeah, no, not the start you want to have if you're Elder. You want to get out there, always you want to defer the choice if you win the toss. Try to get your defense out there, try to get stopped, get your offense out there, get the momentum flowing. So momentum's definitely on Winton Woods' side of the ball right now. As we're going to see the young Corbin Feltz get ready to take his first snap of regular season football here at Elder. He's going to line with the guy to the right, guy to the left, throws, hits up with Jordan Estep.
Oh, and he breaks him!
Jordan Estep down the sideline to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown Panthers. Jordan Estep.
And it looks like he is going to perform tonight. I was questioning all the hype that Jordan's been having, and he just proved me wrong in that play.
Oh, absolutely. It was an unbelievable move right there for Estep. Just a little juke move right through the middle to be able to go down the sideline and take that ball to the house.
That was a great play by Jordan Estep. He got open right away. Feltz saw him. He broke down the sideline, got a quick juke, and just kept on going. Looks like Elder's also going to attempt 2 here.
Feltz got Estep to the right. He's going to take the snap. He's going to fake it. It's going to snap, and he will be swarmed down by Winton Woods. And it will be a fail. After the first 2 drives, this game's 8-6 Winton Woods. So both offenses are definitely starting off strong. First play from scrimmage, 65 yards later, Elder answers with the touchdown of their own. As you see here, Feltz just took it to Estep, and Estep was able to just go down the field and just take it right down the sideline for a 65-yard touchdown. But not the start you want to have if you're a defensive coordinator on either side.
No, not at all. And, this is, as I can tell from right here, this is going to be a very offensive game. And, Elder's defense is really going to have to step up because this Winton Woods offense has a lot of speed. So if we're going to be playing man like we are right now, we're going to really have to pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. As Winton Woods starts up. Quarterback's got one to the right, one to the left.
Looks like we got to cover one man.
Snaps up to hand it off to the running back, number 6. He's going to try to take it down the edge. He's going to be brought down by number 10 for the Panthers, Cooper Davis.
You know, Davis, for an outside tackle there, he has a ton of speed on him. And you know what? By his setting up, it seems like he's an inside linebacker. That's my fault. But, you know, for him chasing him down like that, that's pretty impressive because he was almost down the sideline there, and he just wrapped him up on his ankles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Winton's going to get set up. He's got 2 of the men in the backfield, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Quarterback's going to take it, hand it off to the running back, and he's going to go ahead and plunge for a first down for Winton Woods. Yeah, so far, you know, for Elder, you got to be able to protect that A gap and that B gap. They definitely need to apply more pressure on this Winton Woods offense. You know, their running back's kind of having his way right now, going wherever he wants. If it was me, I'd be buying my offensive line maybe a steak dinner after this game. Because, yeah, they're definitely helping him out so far here tonight.
Seems like we got a cover 2 man going on here. Elder really versifying their defense.
When Woods lines up with trip right or trip left, quarterback keeps it. He's going to take it down the 50.
Looks like there's a flag on the play. I'm expecting holding here. Let's see what the ref has to say. I mean, yep.
Yep, it's going to be a holding on the offense.
And, you know, with plays like that, you know, that's bound to happen, especially at the freshman level with offensive linemen pulling and linebackers trying to crash down on the quarterback there. It's eventually bound to happen, and it definitely sucks for Winton Woods.
Yeah, absolutely. Winton Woods got trips right, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Quarterback in the backfield, 1 with the man next to him. Quarterback's going to take the snap. He's going to drop back. He's going to look. He's got pressure on him. He's going to throw across his body.
Oh, almost intercepted.
Nick Sims almost had it in his hands. Fell right through the breadbasket for an incomplete pass. That's a break right there if you're Winton Woods.
You know, that is a great defensive play by Elder. They started off with the cover 1 man, and Brody Ketters just flew through that line. Because Winton Woods' quarterback dropped back. He was looking for a guy, and then Ketters comes out of nowhere, and he's forced to throw the ball against his momentum and almost throw it into an interception by Sims there.
Winton Woods got 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Man running the backfield. Quarterback's going to hand it off. He's going to try to get that edge, and he's going to be swarmed down by the Panthers. That's what you call team tackling right there if you're a Panther.
Yeah, Grant Riesenberg was all over him on that tackle, just pushing him right out in the sideline. That was a great, as you can see here, he stops and Ketters just goes flying out, ready to almost tackle him. And then Sims almost got a hand on it. It just fell through, but Winton Woods definitely caught a break there because that, you know, really should have been an interception. It seems like Jason Forte, number 11, is going to sub in for a defensive end.
Winton Woods riding with trips right. They're looking. It's going to be pass be broken up by number 4, Luka Thompson.
You know, Thompson played that ball perfectly because I could see that ref getting ready to pull a flag. But, you know, he just put his hands right through the hands of the wide receiver, not grabbing him, not pulling him or anything, and just letting that ball he just smacked that ball down and avoiding a penalty in the process.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and long, so Winton's going to punt. Number 5, Cam Beadle is back for the Panthers. Looks like we got a little bit of confusion from the Winton Woods sideline. They're going to go ahead and take a timeout.
And that is really unfortunate for Winton Woods, having to take a timeout there on 4th down punt. You really want to save those for later in the half.
Oh, absolutely. Those are definitely coming crucial within the 2 minute marker if you have the ball and you're on offense, or just even, later on in the half. It's definitely a crucial, thing to have. And it's just not something you want to waste, especially when you have 4th and 24.
Yeah, and you probably won't see those mistakes on the varsity level, but this is these guys' first game. The only other play action they've really had was the scrimmages in the past. So this is really their first time ever stepping on a high school field and in a high school environment. And so there's definitely going to be more mistakes that are going to happen today.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you see in the older levels too in varsity, that first game, there's always yellow on the field. There's always laundry on the field, like they say. Penalties. Just it's all about working out the kinks.
A solid punt by Woods. It's like 10's just going to pick that one up. Elder's going to start on the 35-yard line. Yeah, that was a pretty decent punt by Woods there. Got a decent bounce, and I'm always impressed by the younger punters able to get a spiral on it, because a lot of kids this age, in the 8th grade age, they kind of just kick it as hard as they can. But with the spiral, it allows for better aerodynamics and a better bounce for once it actually finally gets downfield.
Phelps has got one to the right, one to the left. Head guy in motion. They're running triple option. He's going to pitch it to number 20, Caleb Castleman. Caleb Castleman's going to get a gain of 3, and it's going to be 2nd and 7 Panthers.
Castleman was breaking tackle after tackle there, but only able to get 3 yards. But if a running back like that is able to do that against linebackers like this on Woods, he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Phelps, one to the right, one to the left. Going to hand it off to Castleman. Castleman's going to go up the middle. Castleman's going to get a gain of 6. It's going to be 3rd and 1.
Castleman got pretty far afield there. There's a whole swarm of Winton Woods players, and he was just able to keep on breaking tackles. This guy is a beast.
Phelps got one to the left. This man next to him. He's going to hand it off to Castleman. Castleman is going to be swarming the backfield.
And you hate to see that, because right there, that is all in the offensive line, not making blocks and letting guys by him. And that I'm going to keep on saying this. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but freshman, little experience, blocks are going to get by him. And but that just makes it more difficult on the running back. And if Castleman can get upfield with guys just swarming through different pockets, it'll really prepare him for later on at JV and varsity levels.
Phelps is going to line up to the run to the right. He's going to quarterback sneaker. He's going to take it up the middle for about a gain of 7. That's going to give us a Panther first down.
That was a perfect QB sneak there by Elder. Phelps snuck in right through the B gap, and that B gap was wide open, like not a defensive lineman or linebacker in sight. So that was a great job by the offensive lineman coming off of that previous play.
Oh, absolutely. And what a block there by the offensive line to be able to open up that B gap for Phelps. Phelps is getting ready to go to the right, to the left, one to the right. He's going to fake it to Castleman. He's going to roll out. He's looking down deep. And he's got number 11, Jason Forda. And Forda's going down the sideline. He's going to be in for a Panthers touchdown. What a pass there from Phelps on the run to be able to put it down the line. It almost was tipped by that DB, but he put it just perfect enough to get it to Phelps. Nice little Z out towards the sideline. Just a great play. Great throw there from Phelps.
Let's go ahead and take another look at this.
Phelps is going to fake it over. He's going to roll out. What a perfect throw. He was able to get it just past his DB and for it to put it right in his player's hands. Nice little Z out towards the sideline. Great play there for the Panthers. And just from watching, Corbin Phelps from these first couple drives and watching him warm up, this kid has a bright future ahead of him.
Mm-hmm. And our far wide receivers can keep on making post routes like that. We're going to have a bright offense ahead of us.
Yes, Phelps is going to go ahead and keep it for the 2-point conversion. He's going to be successful. That's going to make this game 14-8 Panthers.
We've had 3 touchdowns so far in this fourth quarter. We still have 6:14 left to play. I mean, defense on both sides right now isn't super strong, but the offense for Elder is looking great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Elder's offense is definitely performing on areas.
And, you can see what players are definitely going to keep that starting role if they keep performing.
Winton's lining up to the right, to the left. They're going to hand it off to the running back. Number 0 is going to take it down the sideline. Number 0 is going down to the 40 to the 47. He's going to be pushed out of bounds.
Bumps a few tables and knocks down some trash cans in the process. But, that was a great run by 0 there. Just going on the outside and able to get the first down. Elder seems to be having a lot of trouble on that outside run there.
Yeah, they're definitely not protecting the ends there at all. They've been able to get that edge almost all game. Quarterback's going to throw it. It's going to do a little screen pass. It's going to throw it too far forward. It's going to fall incomplete.
And, as a quarterback, that is probably one of the most frustrating things. You got a guy pretty open there, and you just mess up the throw. But it's all about bouncing back, especially being this early in the game. If you just get the next play, it makes up for it. Yeah, but the Elder defense seems like it's going to be staying on a man, cover 1 and cover 2, kind of flipping in between. I mean, if it's working, keep doing it. But I wonder if they're going to start switching more into zone defense later on.
Winton's going to start off there and do a little screen pass. He's going to be able to get around, but he's brought down by number 15, Tony Mullen.
Mullen was with him for quite a while, forcing the running back just to keep running towards the sideline. So, in my mind, I consider that a win. Only giving up 2 yards there. Yeah, that's pretty good. And it seems like their running back is pretty fast. So if we can just keep the edge strong, we should be pretty successful in this game.
Yeah, it's going to have 3rd and 7. They're going to bring it up. They're going to be a box formation. Woods will be. Quarterback's got a man to his left. He's going to go ahead, snap it. And it's going to be a quarterback keeper down around the side. And it's going to be good enough for a first down.
It's that outside over and over and over again. It's like, what adjustment do you have to make to be able to defend that?
You got to be able to keep contained. These defensive ends need to be able to keep contained better on the edges. They are getting too far sucked in towards they're falling forward towards the fake handoff, and they're crashing in towards the middle. All you have to do as an offensive lineman there is just make sure they don't get past you and kind of just stand there almost as a block till your quarterback's gone. But you got to be able to keep contained as a defensive lineman. Woods is going to line up with 2 to the left, 2 to the right. They're going to hand it off to number 0. He's going to try to go ahead and get around the edge, but he's going to be correct. He's going to be taken down by Brady Coders.
It seems like Caters is doing it all right now. He's seems to be a very, very athletic defensive end, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him at the varsity level next year. And a lot of guys.
Whitwood's going to line up with trips right. They're going to have a false start.
There's those mistakes again.
Yeah,
They finally get some yardage from their run game, and then their offensive lineman just brings them on back.
yeah, especially when early on in the season, you still got to work out these kinks a little bit, especially, early on, like I said, first game of the season.
Yeah, and these players are feeling the nerves right now, their first high school game. But, at some point you got to settle down, keep your composure, and explode off that line at the right time.
They're going to line up with trips left. Quarterback's going to be grasped by Coders. And the quarterback's just running around.
Almost falls down completely, running backwards.
Yeah, he's back almost 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And somehow he gets a pass off, and it was caught.
And as an Elder defense, that is super frustrating. The quarterback was almost 20 yards back behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, as you see here, he was, had pressure on him right away. Or he was able to flip it out there a little bit. Nice play there for Winton Woods. And that's going to roll us down to the end of the quarter. It's going to be the second quarter. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter of this freshman football matchup. Panthers up 14-8. Eric, what have you seen so far that you've liked from the Panthers?
I've been seeing a ton of pressure from our defensive linemen, especially Ketters. He's, seems to be pretty impressive so far, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. But I think our DBs kind of have to, help out with that because we're forcing their quarterback. We forced him 20 yards down the field in that last play, but he still got a throw off, and they got, 5 yards out of it. And, as a DB staff, you got to clean up those mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to see a little bit more contained, though, also from the defensive ends. They're giving up that edge too easily to that running back, allowing him to get that edge. And that's a dangerous spot to live, especially when you have a team like Winton Woods with the amount of speed that they have.
Yeah, and, that all comes down to these guys just being very anxious, trying to get upfield, but they eventually end up getting too far upfield, and that allows a bunch of opportunity for the running backs to be running down the sideline. And, the quarterback sneaks, going towards each bench. But, yeah, so, as a defensive end, you got to contain that edge. And if Elder can do that, then, our defense will most likely be pretty solid.
Winton Woods going to line up with two to the left, two to the right, one to the left. Quarterback's going to take it. He's looking. He's going to throw a little screen pass number 6, and he's going to be brought down by a whole bunch of Panthers. That's going to bring us 4th down for Winton Woods.
Yeah, and you got Tony Mullen right in there on the tackle. And, he seems like a very athletic linebacker. And, I want to continue. I am super anxious to continue to see what he can do for this Elder defense.
Winton Woods is going to go ahead and looks like it's going to punt on this 4th down. Cam Beadle back for the Panthers. And it's a short punt.
Yeah, very short punt indeed. And you can hear the entire Elder bench scream, "Watch out, watch out," because you had a linebacker there kind of like wondering where it's going, and it was almost about to land right on his head. But luckily that didn't happen. But that's a great job by our lineman there, putting a whole bunch of pressure on that punter and makes him punt it very, very high and not get too much range on it.
Yeah, Elder's going to take over at the 31-yard line. Felts has got two to his left, two to his right, one to the left. Castleman in motion. Phelps is going to take it up the middle. He's going to make a little spin move. He's going to take it up the middle. He's going to try to hurdle, and he's going to get a gain of 9 out of it. Nice run there for Phelps. And, man, Eric, that gap was wide open.
Oh, yeah, and that was big on Brady Clark there, number 44. He got a huge block there, and that allowed that gap to be wide open for Phelps. And so that was a great offensive lineman play, and Phelps using athleticism to pretty much hurdle over a player, and they were able to get a gain of 9 there.
Phelps is going to line up, one to each side of him. He's going to fake it to Castleman. Or no, he's going to hand it off to Castleman. Castleman's going to take it up, try to take it up the middle. And it looks like he got a first down. Yes, he did.
And that was a great job by Castleman. He keeps on breaking blocks, dude. You know, he dove over that line, went around the edge, and overall great performance by the other running back.
Like Phelps is going to line up to each side of him.
Winton Woods is setting up a cover 2 man.
Phelps is going to look. He's going to be looking downfield. He invades a man. And Phelps has just got to throw it to get rid of it. It's going to be an incomplete pass.
And, you know, that was a pretty good job by Phelps there throwing the ball away. Because, you know, we see quarterbacks way too often hold on to that, being too afraid to fumble there. And we even see that at the varsity level. You know, our quarterbacks, past quarterbacks. But, you know, as an offensive lineman, you have guys going upfield and then just swarming Phelps. So you got to stay with your block there because you might think that Phelps ran around you, but you just got to keep on your man.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Phelps got lucky there, too, though, that they did not call that an intentional grounding. Did not look like too many people were around that football.
Well, and they didn't call that because he ran out of the pocket. If he kept on going downfield, then yes, but he was smart enough to run beyond the hash marks.
Phelps is looking. He's going to stiff arm.
Whoa!
Get about a gain of 2. He's going to go over the chain.
Completely trips over that chain. You are very lucky to not be injured there, as that was an ugly fall. But, you know, it's like with our QB sneaks around going down the sideline, it's like it's not working very much because you got to be able to get upfield, and we just don't have – you're not able to follow enough blocks to be able to get upfield going around the edge. And I feel like if our run game – if we're going to run the ball, we got to be running it up the middle. Just be trusting our offensive guards there and just following blocks because when we stop following our blocks, that's when we only get like 1, maybe 2 yards if we're lucky.
Yeah, Phelps is going to ride up 2 to his right, 1 to the left. Phelps is going to throw up the middle and is nearly intercepted by Winton Woods.
Yeah, 34 got his fingertips on it, and he is frustrated with himself for not catching that.
Almost a rookie mistake there from Phelps, trying to force the ball through coverage.
And you know, and that all comes into play because as you can look from this replay here, he really started getting a whole lot of pressure, eventually getting knocked down by the defensive tackle. So it was a little bit rushed with the throw, but you know, it's very tough, and he's lucky to not be throwing an interception there.
Yeah, Jordan E steps back to punt.
Looks like almost looked like a fake punt there.
Yeah, number 6 for Winton Woods was able to field it. And he got the ball all the way up to, looks like, the Panthers' 47, 46-yard line.
And that's exactly where the pick would have been if they caught it. So not a whole lot of difference there.
Yeah, it almost looked like E-Step was going to take off there and try to do a little fake punt around the sideline.
That's sure what it looked like, but I think he was kind of forced to do that because he had so many guys breaking in on him. But he kind of had a line drive punt there.
It looked like he might almost got it.
That's what I was literally just thinking that. But it's like they weren't anywhere near the first down marker. He would have definitely got some yards, but it definitely would have been close. And, you know, as a punter, you really don't want to take that risk.
They're going to hand off to number 0 down the sideline, or down the middle a little bit. He's going to cut in towards the middle. He's going to have enough yards for first down. It's going to be about a 14-yard gain right there.
You know, Elder linebackers, you got to wrap up. And that's exactly why Winton Woods got so many yardage there, because they weren't wrapping up their guy. They just kept on bouncing off of him, trying to make a big-time tackle. But sometimes you just got to wrap up the ankles, keep him from walking.
Woodward's going to take a hand off to number 0. He's going to try to go up the middle, and he's going to be brought down by a swarm of Panthers.
Yeah, Luka Thompson in there on the tackle. Still able to get 3 yards there. That just shows the amount of power their running back has. Able to, keep pushing through tackles like they are.
Woodward's going to line up with 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Quarterback's going to take it. He's going to hand it off to the running back right up the middle. Number 0, he is a hard guy to break down. So he bounces off about 3 tackles on there from the Panthers. Panthers definitely need to fix their tackling right now, need to wrap up more.
And, that's kind of been the story for the Elder defense for, I feel like, a couple years now. Not just the freshman level, but even the JV and varsity level. I feel like it's always been a problem for Elder, wrapping up guys and able to finally bring them down. But that's because we're playing such aggressive and very athletic and very good teams, and it's very challenging to wrap these guys up.
Yeah, number 1's going to throw it down the sideline into coverage. It is going to be caught. Never mind, the referee says he's out of bounds. Did not get a foot in bounds.
And, he had a great fade route there, getting beyond our DB. He got a good head top. He was just a little bit too close to that pylon and eventually goes out of bounds.
All right, the Warriors got 2 to the right, 1 to the left. We're going to have a false start from number 9.
Yeah, and that is a very, very bad mistake for the Winton Woods tight end, because it's 2nd and 15, and you got to find a way to get 15 yards here, and especially when their pass game hasn't been all that great so far. Relying on the run game to get 15 yards in if they want to go for 2 plays. So it was a very, very frustrating mistake for Winton Woods coaches.
Winton Woods 1 trip right, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Quarterback's going to snap it. He's going to look. He's got pressure on him by Beadle. Quarterback's directing.
Beadle all over him.
And he's just going to have to throw it out of bounds. Number 5, Cam Beadle, was right there, was all over the quarterback.
That was a great job by Beadle. Winton Woods quarterback able to be a little bit too quick, get out of the tackling range for him. But that was great pressure to force him to throw it out of bounds.
Yeah, what great speed there from Beadle to be able to come from that offensive linebacker, outside linebacker, kind of DN position, be able to come around and get him.
And it seems like, from my perspective, that Elder's blitz is amazing right now. Elder's got very talented guys and very quick guys to be able to operate the blitz and try to prevent those long passes.
They're going to have a pass down the middle. It's going to be behind their tight end, and falls incomplete.
And, that's just on the quarterback there. You drew up a great play. The tight end ran a perfect out route. It just threw it a little bit too far behind him.
Yeah, and it looks like the offense is going to stay on the field and they're going to go for it.
And, I think this is a smart move. A punt's not going to get them a whole lot more yards, especially when the kickers probably don't have a whole lot of experience. So it's like, might as well go for it. You're this close.
Winton's got trips right through, right, one to the left. He's looking back. Quarterback has it, evades pressure. He's directing downfield. He's going to throw into the corner of the end zone, and it's going to be broken up by Jordan Eastep.
Eastep playing both sides of the field, I guess. He jumped up there and just knocked it down, preventing a touchdown for Winton Woods. That was a great job by the DB room there.
Lucky call there for Winton Woods to not get an offensive pass interference, Maybe since it was fourth down, that did play into it. But there definitely was some contact there from the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Over the back of Jordan Eastep.
And, you'll see that, especially for these younger guys. And we'll see the replay here.
Yeah, quarterback is fading right. And it looked like their tight end was going to be open in the corner to end it, but Eastep was just read the quarterback's eyes and was right there for the knockdown.
Yeah, that was a perfect play by the Elder defense.
Phelps has got two on both sides. One's in motion. Castleman's in motion. He's going to throw it. He's going to complete it to Castleman. Castleman's going to take it down the sideline to the 40, to the 50. Castleman all the way down the sideline, all the way down to the 43-yard line.
He can't just break tackles. He is very, very shifty there. Juking guys all over and able to grab those extra 20 yards. Great job by the Elder running back.
Yeah, no, if you're the Elder offense, you just got to keep throwing the ball. This pass game is working. It is working a lot.
And, that play works all the time at the high school level. And if you watch the NFL, that play almost never works because the DBs are so much faster.
Yeah, Castleman's can be brought down in the backfield on first down.
And that's just a tough play. You're trying to run it up the middle. One guy misses his block and just instantly brought down by one of the defensive linemen.
Phelps is going to line up with two on each side. Phelps is looking down. He's going to look down deep. He's going to go to the right. He's going to throw it in towards the sideline. And they're going to call it incomplete.
Yeah, his both toes fall out of bounds. Phelps just threw it a little bit too far out. But, he was wide open. That cover two zone performed by Winton Woods didn't work out so well, but they eventually got lucky in the end.
Yeah, Phelps was able to avoid the pressure and get out of the pocket here. Had a wide open man in Schmuddy, but puts the ball just too close to the sideline. Schmuddy could not keep his feet in. Phelps got two on either side of him. Never mind, they're going to go to trips left. Three to the left, one to the right. Looks like Elder's trying to run some form of a trick play, and it did not work.
Replay on the catch again.
So we're going to take another look here. Schmuddy was, wide open. Both feet just happened to land on that sideline. Very unfortunate for the Panthers because that would have been a great gain for them. And it seems like that left foot might have snuck in good territory.
Yeah, and the Panthers are going to luck out here, so they're going to get a roughing the kicker call. It's going to push them back even more than it already was, but Jordan Eastep's unbelievable punt.
Yeah, that was a pretty good punt. Without the flag, Woods would be right around the 12-yard line. And so you wonder what the referee has to say here. Looks like he's trying to explain to Coach Mose. Seems like Estep ran a little too far outside of the pocket. And so they're just going to get a 5-yard penalty there off of the punt. You know, not too major of a flag. If I were Coach Mose, you know, I wouldn't be too frustrated with that. Estep put on a good punt.
Well, the only problem with that is that should be a 15-yarder, which would have given the Panthers a first down.
Oh, okay.
That's why Coach Mose was so up in arms. Whitwood's going to line up with trips left. Whitwood's quarterback's looking downfield. He's able to. Coders is right there. He's able to avoid Coders and just throw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, that was great pressure by Ketters there. All over him, and you know, just completely forcing him to just throw it out into the stands.
Yeah, nice.
Replay on the punt.
Yeah, let's go ahead and look back at this Elder punt. But that will lead to 2nd and 10 here for Winton Woods.
Sorry, guys.
Winton Woods going to line up.
Elders got their cover one man going.
Yeah, they line up with trips right, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Quarterbacks can snap it. It's a little bit of a high snap, but handable. And he's going to throw it downfield, almost into triple coverage. And good play there. Thank God for Winton Woods, you know. Very lucky there that wide receiver was able to get a hand on it, or else that would have been an interception for the Panthers.
Yeah, and not just an interception, an easy interception, but number 6 was able to jump up there, put his hand into the sky, and just knock it down.
And probably would have been a pick 6, too, because he had 2 blockers in front of him and a lot of green grass.
That's a good point there. Yeah, so Winton Woods definitely caught a break here. Let's see what they can do here on this 3rd and 10.
They're going to line up to the left, to the right. They're going to hand off to the running back up the middle. And he is brought down by multiple Panthers.
It looks like Cooper Davis in there on the tackle. Just completely brought him down, stopped him in his tracks, and now Winton Woods is left with the decision to go for it or bring out the punt team at 4th and 2.
You bring out the punt team here. You do not punt it on your own side of the territory this deep when you're down 6.
Yeah, but it's you wonder what they do because their run game up the middle has been pretty good. They haven't gotten less than 2 yards yet. So it's definitely a risky move, but I can understand why they go for it. Looks like they're going to try to wind down the clock as much as possible. There's going to be a timeout called on Winton Woods with 1:26 left on the clock. I have a good feeling they're going to bring out their special teams here. Not risk it. You know, you don't have a whole lot of time left. Try to make Elder go as far away from the end zone as possible because most likely they won't be able to get in the end zone with a minute left.
Yeah, but at the same time, with that way the Elder offense has been performing for these past 2 drives too, you know. They've definitely fallen out of their group that they had for the very first 2 drives of the game. So, you know, you're not afraid to punt the ball as you were able to stop Elder on their past 2 drives. And especially with such little time with only a minute 26 left in the half. Now remember though, if Elder is able to successfully score here, they do get the ball coming out at halftime, so they could potentially take a 3-touchdown lead if they were able to convert after half.
Yeah, so this is definitely a big play for Winton Woods.
And it looks like they're going to go for it. Yes, they are. or they're just trying to draw the Panthers off sides.
Yeah, that's a possibility too.
They're going to line up with 2 to the left, 1 to the right.
They still have one timeout, remember.
And the ball is going to go over the quarterback's head.
Looks like there's a flag on the play. Either way, I think this is going to go into Elder's favor, so it's going to be Panthers ball no matter what here, with a minute 17 left and not a whole lot of yardage to go till another touchdown.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get the ball about at the 1 yard line. And what the flag is, it's going to be a unsportsmanlike conduct on number 6. He spiked the ball after he picked it up.
Actually, no, I believe that was on the quarterback because he was the one that went chasing after it.
Replay.
It looks like we're going to get a replay here. See, just way too high of a snap. It was actually their running back who did it. His emotions got the best of him, and now Elder has first and inches.
Yeah, Feltz is lining out to the left. They're going to do a direct snap, a little bit of Castman's going to take it in for a touchdown.
Caleb Castleman just driving right through that C gap. Great job by the offensive lineman, try to keep them away as long as possible and just able to just drive right in there for an Elder touchdown. 20-8 now, looking maybe for a 2-point conversion here.
And it looks like the Panthers are going to go ahead and kick it.
It's going to be the first PAT attempt.
For Caleb Giovanetti.
There's going to be a false start. I think it's probably going to be on the defense.
Yes, it is. It's going to be on that D end.
Number 47. Just jumped a little bit too early. Being all that much closer, I wouldn't be surprised if Elder, called a timeout and went to go for it. But it looks like they're going to keep their extra point attempt.
Yep, snap is good, hold is good, and the kick is up, and it is good. Caleb Giovanetti with the successful PTA. There you go for the PAT. Coach Mose is loving it. Coach Mose gives his kicker his big old hug, and as he runs down to the sideline, puts that Panthers up 21-8.
Great showing by the Elder offense so far in this first half, making big-time plays, and, they definitely caught a break on that last one there. Yeah, Winton Woods just making too many mistakes right now. If they can clean up those mistakes and with their run game, they definitely still have a chance going into the second half. But you wonder what they're going to do here to maybe try to score before this clock runs out.
Yeah, remember the Panthers do get the ball coming out of half. Winton Woods is going to line up with 2 on each side. 1 in the backfield. Quarterback's going to snap. He's going to look. He's got all day to throw. Never mind. He's going to tuck it, run. And he's going to get about 4 or 5 yards on the gain.
Looks like he was brought down by Will Jones. Just tackles him at his feet. The quarterback almost completely leapt over him, but was able to just get a couple ankles on there.
Quarterback Scotty's going to look. He's going to take off again. Smart decision there to get out of bounds, though, to stop that clock.
Yeah, he definitely had the opportunity to try to go for the first down, but he just instead just tried to get out of bounds, stop the clock. It looks like they're going to have to reset the clock to 34 as it kept on winding down after the play was called dead. Elders right now is just preventing the deep ball.
Wood's trying to line up with trips right. He's going to go ahead and throw it to the left. Dumb decision there from the Woods wide receiver to cut inside. He had the first down, was greedy, and went for more yards instead of going out of bounds, conserving that clock. Big mistake there for the wide receiver.
I think that's how they drew it up, to get the hitch route, because they still had a timeout left to go, and might as well use it. You only have 28 seconds left, and you still have the fade routes down the sideline to go to with the corners.
I disagree completely. You got to conserve that timeout.
But they just wanted to get the first down there.
With two defenders right there, and you already had the first down with the catch. You need to get out of bounds, conserve that clock, then you can use that timeout later on in the half.
Well, despite the wide receiver decision, it's going to be first down and 10 with 28 seconds left. Elders playing cover 2 zone here. Really just trying to prevent the deep ball. Owen Kammer pushes it out of bounds there. Woods is really conserving the clock very well for how much yards they've gained. At this rate, they honestly might get they'll get pretty close to the end zone.
Yeah, they're going to line up with trips right. Go ahead. Throw it down the middle. It's just a little too low for the tight end to handle.
And, that's probably good, honestly, for that ball to be incomplete, because the clock would have kept on winding down, because there was no way that tight end was going to break free and go for a touchdown there.
Or get out of bounds. He's in the middle of the field.
Exactly. So I think that incomplete was probably the best thing to happen for Winton Woods on that play. Yeah, and I'm sure the quarterback threw it there just to avoid a sack, because he had a man wide open right down the middle of the field. See what happens.
Completed a pass to the sideline for a first down. Nice little out route there for the Woods wide receiver.
That's exactly what you do. This is exactly what you do for Winton Woods. Just try to get as much yards as possible, because with the young quarterback, probably doesn't have strong enough arm to get a Hail Mary deep down in the end zone yet. So they're just trying to get as many yards as possible before this clock runs down.
Yeah, also, you also do have the option of a field goal. You also do have the option of trying a field goal.
I really don't think so, because, you got to remember, these are freshmen out in this field. Most kickers are not going to be able to kick it 45 yards. It probably won't happen. So their best option is try to get as far down as possible. Maybe kick a field goal if they get closer to that 35, 30-yard range. But even then, it might be a little bit of a stretch. Then again, we have no idea what Winton Woods has up their sleeve. I just know from my experience with freshman football, most guys aren't able to make that kick.
And they're going to tackle him in bounds. That's going to run out this clock.
That was a great tackle there by Cam Beadle. The wide receiver was definitely trying to get down to the sideline, but it just able to trip him up there and let the clock wind down.
And that right there is why you have to conserve that timeout from earlier, because you need to use it later on. When you already had the first down, you weren't getting much more time. Go out of bounds and not go in bounds and waste that timeout, because you could have used it there. Then you have one more shot at the end zone.
Yeah, it's just with that play, with that hitch route there.
It's designed to the sideline.
Well, on that one, it could have been a mistake by the wide receiver. It was just you really don't know, because I think we both agree that wasn't the best decision for Winton Woods. I just think that that might have been what the play was drawn up to be. But either way, it didn't work out well.
Yeah, either way, it does not work out well for the Warriors. But it is halftime. It is 21-8 here at Elder in the pit. We're going to go ahead and step aside and take a quick break. Welcome back in here, ladies and gentlemen. We got lots of action going on here in the pit. Tune in on Friday night when our varsity football team takes on Mount Zion Prep for the first football game of the year. ENN's own will be live on Fox 19.3, so also tune in on there if you would like. But you can also tune on in easports.com. But
Yeah, and of course, tune in early to watch myself and Brett do the pregame show. So
the dream team right here, ladies and gentlemen. But Eric, go ahead and give me a little rundown of that first half that we saw here from the Elder Panthers and Winton Woods.
Yeah, so despite the 8 points for Winton Woods, I've been pretty impressed by their offense, especially their running back, number 0. He's been, breaking tackles left and right. He's been super shifty, getting jukes left and right also. Really able to run down the sideline, but Elder not defending the edge a whole lot. They really need to clean that up a little bit. Our pass game, it's been pretty good. Just a few mistakes from Feltz there. But I'd say our pass game has been pretty solid. But something that has been very impressive today is Caleb Castleman, our running back. I've been seeing a whole lot of broken tackles and a whole lot of jukes. He's been just running all over these guys, and he's definitely got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been able to avoid every defender on the field, it looks like, anybody that's wearing white. But he's definitely got a bright future ahead of him. But, all right, it's the new school year, new broadcast season. What's your favorite class so far? Where are you looking forward to the most?
Of course I have to say Mr. Adam Doole's mass media class.
I'm looking forward to history with Mr. Doc Waller. Mr. Doc Matthew Waller. I cannot wait. Just a little entry he gave us today. I'm very excited. But we're going to go ahead and look at some highlights from the first half. Starting out here, we got the team getting ready. Something at Elder that I think is so cool is how we pray together before every game. But like you mentioned earlier, that running back's been able to get the edge. Elder has not been able to defend the edge that much, as it was just, shown right there as number 0 was able to get that edge and run down the sideline. Here's our amazing play from Feltz to E-Step. E-Step able to avoid that defender, take that little juke that we saw earlier, and just take it right down the sideline. But he has not made much action or much, noise since that play. We'll see if he can pick it up a little bit more in the second half. Winton Woods here just...
And, of course, a ton of pressure there by number 99, Brody Ketters. And he's been phenomenal all game.
Yeah, absolutely. But, man, has Corbin Feltz had himself his first football game, as he was able to find number 11, Jason Forte, for the touchdown. Nice little out route to the sideline.
Feltz embracing a whole lot of pressure. And, that's kind of been the story for the pass game so far. And those mistakes have been coming from the pressure. This was nearly a touchdown by the wide receiver for Winton Woods, but just barely went out of bounds.
Same thing here, almost, catch, unbelievable catch. And this was a huge play in this game. This is what really would turn the momentum over towards the Panthers. A snap gone bad. It was a 4th down. The Panthers were able to stop them. And like you see there, they had start off the ball on the edge line. And Castleman just got the direct snap and QB sneak and took it right in. they ran the little wildcat formation.
Yeah, just a little bad break there by Winton Woods. And mistakes like those is what has been what was killing them so far on their defense. And Elder has been taking advantage of it very well.
Absolutely, and that one play, we talked about it a few times. Wide receiver caught that hitch, turned inside instead of going outside. That was another key play too. Caused Winton Woods to burn that last timeout that they didn't have when they had the ball and the wide receiver got tackled in the middle of the field with 3 seconds left. Who's to say you call that timeout? Something else could have happened at that end of that half. So, our Panthers are very fortunate, very lucky for that to happen.
Yeah, and we were discussing this during the halftime break. So what we think happened was that hitch route was intended for him to cut back out of bounds, but our corner on that play was able to prevent that from happening and tackling him in play. So that was a great job by our DBs there to prevent that from happening and making them use up that timeout, which they could have later used in the game and maybe could have put some more points on the board.
Yes, we're going to go ahead and head back into halftime. Back out of halftime, head back into game action. Panthers up 21-8. Corbin Feltz looking great in his first half so far. He's got over 100 passing yards and 2 touchdowns in his first ever high school football game, looking like a true star out there.
Looks like Winton Woods is starting with a cover 2 man. Fast shotgun snap. Runs right through the middle, keeps on breaking tackles. He's not getting brought down. He's going to get a gain of 14 yards there. Great job by the young QB.
Yeah, nice play there by the QB to take it right up the middle. Had the 8 gap wide open. Nice play there by the offensive line, too, to open up that gap for Feltz. Just all-around great play for the offense. And our running game, that when's been successful has been that up the A and B gap, up the middle by Feltz. I mean, that hole is just wide open. As Feltz is going to hand off to Castleman, he's going to take it for about a gain of 15.
Yeah, Castleman just running right up that middle, breaking tackle after tackle, and is able to get another back-to-back first down.
Yeah, man, Castleman's having himself a night. He's had lots of carries, couple touchdowns. He's been able to have himself a very successful night so far.
Elder's run game has been great to the start of this second half. You wonder if they just keep rolling with it. Felt sets up. Clark in motion. Gives off to Castleman. Castleman runs right up the middle for a gain of 6.
Again, what a play there for the offense line. Be able to open that gap open so Castleman can get through. Offense line's looking great so far to start the second half.
Clock is running down to 7:20 here. Elder, 2nd and 4.
And if you're the Panthers here, this is almost a perfect vision. You want to be able to run the football in the second half when you're up by 2 touchdowns to try and drain that clock as much as possible, Don't give Winton Woods the time to, set their offense up if you don't have to.
Elder 2 in the left. Woods with a cover 1 man. Gives off to Castleman and is brought down immediately by number 77.
Yeah, Castleman had no chance there. As soon as he got that ball, number 77 was right in his face. This block there from the Panthers.
And that's tough to see because our run game was doing so good up until that point. But, still early in the quarter. See if Elder can bounce back here.
Yeah, and that's not something, you want to see on second down, especially because, that almost set them up. It was 2nd and 7, or 2nd and about 4, 5, or 6. And that almost sets you up to be able to kind of do whatever. If you get a couple yards in that play, that makes it 3rd and 3. You can do whatever you want. Now you're in a passing situation.
Panther offense sets up trips left. Throws it down the field, and it's completed to Jason Forte to get a Panther touchdown.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion there between Feltz and Forte. Forte almost stopped, and Feltz went deep. But great break ended up working out there from the Panthers, and Forte was able to get under that ball for a touchdown for his second one of the night.
Replay.
Let's look at a replay here. Elder sets up with a trips left. Just completely outnumbered their DBs, and he just completely head tops their safety. Great job by Forte.
Yeah, I mean, no man within 5 feet of him to start off the line. As Giovanetti's going to line up with the kick, bad hold, and he misses.
Yeah, it seems to be a bad hold, and the kicker, Caleb Giovanetti, misses left. That's just some of the small mistakes that can be costly. But it's nothing to be too mad about because Elder's still up by 3 possessions, so not something to hang your head on. 6:12 left to go. Elder 27, Winton Woods 8.
Yeah, absolutely. This defense, who's been playing better than Brady Coders? I mean, he's been all over this field so far tonight, making lots of tackles, put a lot of pressure on Winton Woods' quarterback.
Elder set up cover 1 man. Winton Woods 2 on the right. He's going to give it off to the running back. And they're going to be brought down immediately by Luka Thompson. Great job by the inside linebacker. If Elder can keep on doing that, just completely destroying the run game for Winton Woods, because that's been their asset right now. That's been their best playmaking opportunities there. And if Elder can continue to stop that, they'll be in great shape.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can try to contain that edge, too, like we said earlier, you're definitely going to be in good shape if you're the Panthers.
Winton Woods pass it off to the starting running back. Almost brought down, and it eventually does. Great job by Tony Mullen to get a hand on him. And then Luke Fitz able to finally bring him down.
Yeah, absolutely. What a play there from Mullen to not be fooled by their shifty running back of Winton Woods. Was able to just stick with it and was able to make that play happen. Even though he didn't bring him down completely, he allowed his team to get there to come and finish this play. I mean, just a great all-around play there from Mullen.
Winton Woods set up trips left for the 3rd and 15. High snap. Drops back. Ton of pressure. Running up the sideline and is going to get back to the original line of scrimmage for a gain of 5.
Yeah, nice play there by the Elder defensive line to put some pressure on him. Cam Beadle was right in his face the whole entire time. Great play there for the Elder defense. Looks like you're going to be forced into a punting situation here.
Yeah, Winton Woods bringing on special teams. Great job by the Elder defense. Completely cut off any potential momentum given over to Winton Woods and forcing a punt early on. Looks like we're going to have an offsides call on Elder.
No, it's a false start on Winton Woods.
Yeah, it looks like it is. It's going to bring him back 5 more yards and continue to punt. It's going to be a short punt, and it's going to be picked up by 47. Elder is going to be given the ball on the 45-yard line. And here comes the Panthers with 4:29 left in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, the Panthers have all of the momentum on their side right now. They're up 19 points coming off that last drive of just an unbelievable throw from Phelps right to Forte. I mean, the Panthers are in a golden opportunity right now to go up potentially 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I mean, if they can get this touchdown here, they can really try to put the nail in the coffin early because if they get that great stop there and then immediately follow it up with a touchdown, it makes it very hard on Winton Woods to come back. Looks like Elder's going to bring in a new quarterback, Grady Schmuddy, number 3. Give himself a shot. He's going to give it off, and that's going to be dropped.
Someone's shoe came off.
Looks like, yeah, they came off of number 19. Just, bad play by Elder there, intended for Caleb Castleman. And it was just too low, and Castleman drops it.
Replay.
We're going to take another look at it here. You got the motion. Tries to get us off to Castleman, and Castleman just drops it, completely eliminating any chance of a gain of yardage there.
Yeah, mistake there from Castleman.
Schmuddy with a lot of pressure from the opposing D lineman. Pass intended for Jason Forte, and that's going to fall short for the incompletion. It's going to be 3rd and 15 for the Panthers. You really got to try to go deep here, try to get some good yardage. Elder sets up Deuce's right, tries to look for somebody down the middle, and the pass intended for Bruner is going to be incomplete, and Elder is going to fall to 4th down, and they're going to bring on the punt team.
Yeah, Schmuddy had a dude open right down the middle, but he just put too much on it, and the wide receiver's not ready for it.
Yeah, it kind of just goes right through the hands and a little bit over the head of him, and the Panthers are going to fall short.
Looks like they're going to bring on Forte back to punt.
A great punt by Forte. And Six is going to pick it up. He's going to be running down the sideline. Breaking tackles eventually going to be brought down by a number of Panthers. And there's going to be a flag called on the play. Looks like it's going to be a penalty on the Warriors here. Seems to be a block in the back. Just going to be a little bit of loss of yardage there. Here comes the Warriors offense. 3:24 left to play in the quarter. It looks like we're going to try to take another look at this.
Yeah, a little bit of a scuffle there between both teams, but luckily it was able to be sorted out pretty quickly.
Deuces right and left. Gives off to the running back. Tries to go around the edge and is going to be immediately brought down by Luka Thompson. Thompson has been showing up today, making a number of tackles and preventing a whole lot of yardage for Winton Woods. Elder with a cover one man again. It's going to be a QB sneak around the edge. And it's going to be brought down for only 2-yard gain for Winton Woods. Great job by Elder.
Yeah, we said earlier in the half during halftime, Elder's got to do better of keeping contained on that edge, and for sure they have for sure done that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they didn't tackle just any later, it would have been an easy first down for Winton Woods. So it was a great job by Elder, cleaning up their mistakes for sure. Winton Woods setting up trips right.
We got new unis out there, too, for the freshman football team.
Throws over, tries, intended for 9. It's going to fall short. And it's going to be 4th and 3.
Yeah, it looks like number 9, their tight end's a little banged up. He's holding his wrist.
Definitely expecting a run here by Winton Woods. They're going to try to QB sneak around the edge. Almost brought down. And eventually is. And Elder is going to get the ball back deep in Winton Woods territory.
Yeah, dumb decision there by the Woods quarterback to run backwards on 4th down. If you're not going to go north and get any yards, you're not going to be able to go south and north and get any yards.
Yeah, it was definitely, and that's the reason why he ran backwards is because of a whole lot of pressure from the Elder front line. A great job by the Panthers to apply that pressure and not allow any gainage of yards, and puts their offense in a great position here at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at a replay. He just runs backwards completely. It's not something you want to see on 4th down from your quarterback.
Warriors are not in a great position for their defense. See if Elder offense can capitalize here with 1:33 remaining.
Schmutty's still in.
See if Grady Schmutty can get the job done here. Gives it over to Castleman. He's going to be brought down with a gain of 3. Clock is winding down, coming up on a minute now. Elder with 2 on the right. Castleman's going to go into motion. We're going to do a QB sneak right up the middle, and Schmutty is going to maybe get a first down, and he does. Looks like the chains are going to be brought back. It's going to be 3rd and 1. Clock winding down to 30 seconds. Elder's not going to call for a timeout. Clock's still running down. This is going to be the last play of the quarter. And the clock is going to wind down. And we're going to head into the 4th quarter. Elder is still 3rd and 1. But Elder is currently leading over the Warriors 27-8.
Yeah, absolutely. Something like we said, I want to mention again. We were able to fix a lot of our mistakes there from the first half. We were able to, definitely keep contained on that outside against this Winton Woods offense, as we saw in that last 4th down play, which led to this Panther drive. That quarterback was not able to get that edge like he was in the first half. And is completely dismantled Winton Woods' offense so far.
Yeah, for sure. Elder has definitely cleaned up their mistakes that we saw in the first half. completely eliminating the run game for Winton Woods, and that's been their number one asset. That is ultimately what allowed them to get the 8 points early on, but they have not been successful since then. But if Winton Woods cleans up their pass game, they'll definitely be in a good spot to maybe come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want, also with that whole entire thing, with us being able to put so much pressure on them, what a great job by our cornerbacks. Our DBs being able to cover the guys and not giving the quarterback an outlet to throw the ball to.
Schmuddy with the QB sneak goes right up the middle. Pushing the pile, and he's going to get across the line for a first down. Looks like the ball's going to be placed on the 10-yard line. It's going to be first and goal for the Panthers. Great job there by Grady Schmuddy, able to use a little bit of his size to his advantage to really push some of those defenders back, and some of his linemen gave him a little tush push to eventually put him across the line for the first down.
Yeah, go ahead and just call us the Philadelphia Eagles while you're at it.
Ball's going to be given off. Elder's starting to get downfield. Chase Follick sees the field and on his first snap gets the ball. And it looks like there's going to be a penalty called on the Panthers. Ball's going to be placed on the 20.
Yeah, it looks like majority of the starters right now for the Panthers are out.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we were talking about before the game. They're going to give their guys some more opportunities, see which guys stand out, and especially with this lead, I wouldn't expect to see the starters anyways.
Yeah, you don't want to risk injury at the same time.
That's true. That's true.
When you're up this much, you don't want to risk, put your players in harm's way when you don't have to.
Right. And with these young freshmen, you want to give as many guys opportunities as possible.
Exactly. I never started a game except for the B games back in high school, freshman football. And, you're just trying to give the opportunities to kids.
Schmuddy throws it off to Forte. Forte's going to run up to the 10-yard line.
To be able to try to develop themselves to become better players. I will say one thing about both these quarterbacks, though. Even though we've seen a few mistakes from Feltz, they are very mature for their age at playing quarterback. Mm-hmm. They exactly know what they're doing. I have not really seen one bad read, except for that one up the middle earlier in the ball game, where it was almost picked off from either quarterback. They are definitely, they look like they're, JV varsity quarterbacks right now.
Yeah, definitely a lot of poise coming out of the QB room. And let's see if Schmuddy can get Elder 10 more yards to put him up 4 touchdowns. Schmuddy scrambles, and it's going to be brought down by 47. It's going to be 4th down. And you wonder if they bring out the kicking team?
It's third.
Oh, it's 3rd down. 3rd and 19. You see this replay here, just immediately just brought down. Great job by the edge there, but, as an offensive lineman, not the prettiest sight to see. As Elder is going to call a timeout here, try to regain focus for Elder. 6:12 left on the clock. Elder currently up 27-8, looking to add to that score. It seems like they are bringing on some more backups.
Yeah, absolutely. You're trying to add to the score, but at the same time, it's kind of a win-win here if you're the Panthers because, the more you take, the more time that's running off the clock and the less time Winton Woods, has to come back. Or if you put the ball in the end zone, well, then you're up by 4 touchdowns with only 6 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really in these games, it's really all about giving these guys experience, preparing them for the JV and varsity levels, and with this lead, it doesn't really matter if the starters are out there. You want to give as many guys the opportunities to play as possible, and try to better this program. Elder sets up deuces. Schmutty drops back. Deep pass it in the end zone. Touchdown, Elder! Dominic Bruner able to pull it in for a Panther touchdown.
Yeah, what a play. What a catch there from Bruner. And what a throw by Schmutty to be able to put it only where his wide receiver could get it. Absolutely play there.
Yeah, and that was a dime by Schmutty. You had players everywhere. And you got it right to him.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that replay. He was able to just roll in the pocket and put it right on the money to the wide receiver in the end zone.
Great job by Bruner. Pull that one down. High snap, and the kick is wide left. Elder leading over the Warriors 33-8 with 6:06 left to play. For Caleb Giovanetti, you can't really hold that one against you too much. Wasn't a very good snap. But, he definitely had the opportunity to make it. And let's see if he makes the adjustment for the next time, or if not, the next game. Looks like Winton Woods is putting in a new running back. Let's see what they do here. Drops back, looks right. Whole ton of pressure by the Panthers, gets it off, and it's going to be incomplete, intended for number 6.
Yeah, what a play there by the Panthers defensive line to apply pressure on the quarterback, not give him much time. We've seen that a lot tonight.
Oh, yeah.
The defensive line being able to get in that Woods backfield and put pressure on that quarterback.
Yeah, Brady Clark with the pressure there, just all over him, and he's usually starting as an offensive lineman, so it's great to see that he's able to transfer that over to the D line.
Yeah, that's a great good point. Brady Clark's usually on the offensive line. It's another good thing about these freshman games. You can get kids experience on both sides of the ball.
QB throws deep, and it's going to be incomplete through the hands of 10.
Yeah, he should have came up with that ball. It's an unfortunate mistake, or an unfortunate miss if you're Winton Woods.
And that was a very difficult catch. It was on the run. He was diving. A lot of pressure by the elder DB. And, it would have been an unbelievable play, but it just fell short. As you're looking here, just fell right through his hands. That was great pressure there by Cooper Davis. Warriors set to the left, to the right. 6 is put in motion, gives it off to 6. Run down the edge, and it's going to be brought down by a swarm of Panthers. Looks like it's going to be 4th and 2 for the Warriors. 5:25 left in the clock. It seems like they're going to go for it. This is a huge play for the Warriors here if they can get this. Shotgun snap. QB steps back, plenty of time. Now starts to scramble. Crosses the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be going down the sideline. Panthers missing tackles, and he's be eventually knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
Rookie mistake there from the quarterback. Yes, he broke out and got yardage, but he should have sat back in the pocket a little bit longer. You know, no need to leave the pocket unless you absolutely have to and avoid taking a hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it ended up working out for Winton Woods. Able to get a big gain on a 4th down play. First and 10 for the Warriors. 4:49 left to play. And Winton Woods needs a touchdown. Probably, I would say, before the 4-minute marker to give themselves a good chance of them coming back.
Yeah, they need a score, I would say, in about the next 30, 45 seconds.
Seems like a Warrior is down. Receiving care by our trainer, Fitz. Seems to be a pulled hamstring, maybe. Cramping a little bit.
It's another thing that comes into play in these early games, Lots of potential cramping from the weather. And
yeah, especially with how hot it is out here, these players can easily get dehydrated, and cramps are bound to happen. And definitely painful for the players and painful to watch. Warriors 1st and 10, setting up trips left. Shotgun snap for the Warriors. High snap. QB sets back. Wide open, number 6, and he's going to waltz on into the end zone for a Warrior touchdown.
yeah, just a misread there from the elder linebacker, Just let the guy run right past him, and he was wide open down the middle.
Yeah, and I mean, props to the Winton Woods quarterback, putting on a dime for his wide receiver, jumping up and able to cruise on into the end zone. Looks like Winton Woods is going to go for 2 here, trying to get as many points on the board as possible. Looks like they're going to be setting up trips right. Put 6 in motion. Shotgun snap, high snap again. He's going to try to scramble into the end zone. And they are going to be successful for the 2-point conversion. 33-16. 4:38 left on the clock, and the Warriors still need a few stops here against Elder.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're the Panthers here, you're just looking to run the football. But
number 1, he saw pressure coming in from the right, so he decided to move up into the pocket, and he was already there, so might as well just run right into the end zone. Schmutty's still in as quarterback for Elder. And it looks like they're going to bring on Chase Follick again as our running back. Gives out to Follick, runs up the middle. And it's going to be brought down by a number of Winton Woods players for a gain of, it looks like to be a gain of 2 for Elder. for Elder, it's like you can hang your head down and say we only got 2 yards, but ultimately what they're just trying to do here is just try to run down the clock as much as possible before Winton Woods gets the football. So we're probably going to see a lot more running plays. Hands off to Folk again, and it is immediately brought down by Winton Woods.
Just letting you know, after the game, we're going to get you on camera. First, we're going to talk about the Friday game with that graphic earlier. Then we'll put you on camera, and then you send it off to a highlight package.
It's going to be 3rd and 11 for Elder. It looks like they're bringing on a lot more subs, just giving their guys some more opportunity to play.
Obviously, passing situation here for the Panthers.
Schmutty QB sneaks, tries to go across the line of scrimmage, and a flag is thrown. Looks like there's going to be a holding on the offense. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty against Elder. Seems like Winton Woods declines the penalty. It's going to be 4th down, and the punting team is going to be brought on.
Yeah, smart decision there by Winton Woods to decline the penalty. No need to give Elder an extra down to potentially convert for a first when you could get the ball right now.
That or even just running the clock down. You want to save as much time as possible. And so we're probably going to see a lot of passing coming out of Winton Woods once their offense comes back on the field. Forte stepping in as punter. Forte with an excellent punt. 6 is forced to go back. Estep trying to bring him down, eventually does.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not sure.
And Winton Woods is going to be forced to start their offense on the 29-yard line. Winton Woods needs to score a lot in a little amount of time. 2:13 left to play. Still down by 2 possessions. Everybody's having trouble trying to get their guys on the field now. Just both teams seems like they're putting on their subs. Trips left for the Warriors. QB scramble. Gives it off to 1. Eventually going to be brought down on the 38-yard line.
Yeah, but that clock is still running.
Nine and 6 put in motion. Shotgun snap. QB scrambling. Dishes out to the sideline. It's going to be incomplete.
Yeah, missed there for the Woods quarterback. He had that tight end number 9 run down the middle wide open.
Yeah, definitely a misread there. But at least the clock stopped. 1:44 left. Elder gets a stop here. This game is going to be over.
Remember, Woods still needs 3 more touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not looking great for chances-wise for Winton Woods, but they're going to try their best here. QB throws deep to 10. Just going to drop it. It's going to be incomplete. 3rd and 10, and that was a huge, huge play by the Elder DBs.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of drops tonight from the Winton Woods wide receivers.
Yeah, very frustrating for Winton Woods. But this was great. This was a great job by Elder to stop this from happening. It looks like Rylan Wollenweber with the great play there. .137 left on the clock, 3rd and 10. It seems like the Warriors quarterback is down. An injury timeout here, and he's going to get up, hobbling over to the sideline. Looks like the former tight end, now quarterback number 9, is going to step in for the Warriors. As looking down the sideline, and that's going to be intercepted by Wollenweber. And he's eventually going to be pushed out of bounds, and that is pretty much going to be the game.
Yeah, that's one's going to do it. I'm not sure where number 9 was going with that one. It looked like he threw it right to Wollenweber.
Yeah, I think that was just miscommunication between the wide receiver and quarterback there.
Yeah, a little bit of an overthrow there. Did not have a white jersey within a couple yards of that one. But great break there for the Panthers, you know.
Looks like the intended receiver went with a hitch route when the quarterback thought it was a fade. But either way, ends up in Panther hands. And this one is going to send Elder home with the season opening victory against the Warriors.
After the game's going to go.
Falker's just going to run it down.
Recap the game real quick. Talk about the Friday game when I put out the graphic.
Panthers are going to line up in victory formation.
And then you guys are off. You don't need to talk over the replay.
Panthers are celebrating on the sideline as this was a great win for Elder.
Yeah, just running that clock down. You know, Winton Woods historically has a great football program. You know, great win here for the Panthers tonight.
We're going to give out to Folker for one last play. The Panthers are going to let this run down unless Winton Woods calls for a timeout, and they are not. And that is it for the Elder Panthers as they come out victorious on the season opener, beating the Winton Wood Warriors 33-16.
Yeah, great game here from tonight from the Panthers. You know, all around, the defense looked great in that second half. Struggled a little bit in the beginning because we gave up 8 on the very first opening drive, but definitely bounced back later on in the game. Was able to hold that edge, you know, contain the edge like we harped on in halftime. And boy, did they deliver, you know, really eliminate that Winton Woods offense.
Yeah, and, you know, speaking of offense, I was super impressed with ours. You know, our run game really turned up later in that first half. And Caleb Castleman, man, what a running back. He's able to successfully get a ton of yards, breaking tackles, showing off his shifty moves. And, you know, this was just a great win from Elder and a great showing for this freshman team because they definitely have great potential for the rest of this season and for the rest of their Elder careers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Great potential from Corbin Phelps. Man, did he perform tonight? Threw over 100 yards in just a half of football and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he looked amazing tonight.
Yeah, and you never know what he goes on to do in this program. And maybe we'll be saying we're the ones who got to witness his first game as an Elder Panther.
Boy, was it a special one. But you got anything else to add here tonight, Eric?
Not really. I mean, I was just super impressed with our team overall. Cleaned up some mistakes that we saw in the first half, and that's really what led us to be victorious, eventually winning 33-16 on this home opener.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, don't forget, Friday night, it's a big night for the Panthers. We're going to go ahead and bring home, hopefully, a victory against Mount Zion Prep on Friday. And E&M will be broadcasted on Fox 19.3, so tune in on there or get tickets, and you can watch at ehsports.com. But it's going to be a great show on Friday. I look forward to watching their quarterback. He's an ambidextrous quarterback, which I'm yet to see, and I'm very interested to see. He uses his right primarily in the game, but he can throw with his left if he has to. But regardless, you'll go ahead and hear all of that if you tune in early with me and Eric Mason on the pregame show. But I don't know. You got anything else to add about tonight's game?
Yeah, that's all for me, Brett.
Yeah, it was just a great showing tonight for the Panthers. They will be up here. I think their next game's sometime next week. But that's all we got here for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Brett McCool, alongside here with Eric Mason. Let's go ahead and take a look at some highlights from tonight's game.